Right. So now I'm going to introduce Carol Gilligan, who's going to give us a few opening remarks. Oh, I think continue opening remarks.
The film?
Oh, I think Jeremy was going to introduce the film.
No, I introduced it.
Oh.
So if you want to play the film now, we should play it. Okay. So this is Jonathan
Then
Slavin.
we can put the screen.
Of course.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Slavin. I'm sorry I can't be in person at this event. I've got a conflicting family celebration, but I'm really happy to have the chance to say something brief about Jill and about the book that we're celebrating today. I first met Jill 26 years ago in 1989 when she came to the Tufts Counseling Center to interview for a job. It was a really memorable, maybe even life-changing experience. It was pure Jill. It was all over the place, including her coffee or juice, red juice maybe it was. But it was the kind of conversation you know you have with Jill when you know her. It was spirited, it was in-depth, it was playful, it was teasing, and it was extremely welcoming. She makes space for the thoughts of other people. But then you see, as she takes something in and processes it in her mind and comes to some point of clarity, that there's a steeliness and a grip in her thoughts that's really very special. It really was unlike any interview I've ever had with a postdoc at the time or anyone else. Well, lucky for both of us, Jill didn't get the job. There was a great in-house candidate who had earned it. But what was I going to do? I just had this profound conversation, and what would happen? We would meet at conferences. I felt like I had to do something, so I decided we had to become friends and colleagues. For the next 15 years, Jill came every year to the Tufts Counseling Center, did a case conference, and gave a talk about something invariably interesting and arresting, even on the morning that she decided at the last minute to add some new coloring to her hair. She made it. So I've been a witness to the evolution of Jill's thinking and her hairstyling all this time and subsequently. I've heard Jill present her earliest ideas about deep structure, about patients assuming agency, about women's desire, about the transitional subject. The last talk she gave at Tufts, she called me to say she had nothing to say. She had no thoughts. So I said, well, why don't you give a talk about having no thoughts? And she did. It was an extemporaneous tour de force. And now it's part of a chapter in Jill's book. So we know now that Jill has many thoughts, and some of them are in this lovely book. What I'd like to do is read a little bit of the blurb that I wrote for the back cover of her book, and then say one more brief thing. So this is what I wrote. This is perhaps the most unusual psychoanalytic book I've ever read. I think that's really true, by the way. It's not just a blurb. It's also the most unusual essay on the nature of democracy. And it's a very striking meditation on the formative role of sexuality and gender and the body on the mind and the way humans encounter and create their social world. And it's a particularly American book. It assumes the inherent naturalness, the rights of human desire, and it frames something essential about the American experiment in claiming our desires. It sweeps the reader into an understanding of the indivisible connection between human inner freedom and the freedom to be with other humans. Freedom of thought, of speech, and the freedom to desire are essential elements of discussion in this book. But this book is not simply about unbridled freedom. The subtlety and brilliance of this work is that it helps us understand freedom in the context of what contains it. That Jill, with the help, delicate help, of Michael Macron, has been able to accomplish this in one book, bringing the reader into a shared fascination with what is common in these very disparate ideas is really a monumental accomplishment. I remain very appreciative that Jill never got the job at Tufts. And instead she's become one of my closest personal friends and one of my most treasured professional colleagues. I hope you'll have a good time and a good discussion. Thanks for letting me in. Bye.